For the last month, our Board of Supervisors was sort of debating whether they wanted to adopt a digital vaccination record, essentially a QR code on your smartphone that would indicate you had been vaccinated. The problem with the plan, of course, is that technology, once implemented, would enable the marketplace and the stores to actually ask you to flash your papers before you pass, and potentially could lead to discriminatory actions, particularly because 40% of the elderly in our county don't own smartphones. So regardless of whether they've been vaccinated or not, they're not going to be able to actually flash a QR code. 20% of the poor are in the same boat, as well as 15% of our minorities. The Board of Supervisors, Katrina Foley in particular, was saying this is not a policy of exclusion. We all begged to differ. If you're Katrina Foley and you've been vaccinated, of course it's not a policy of exclusion because you can get into Disneyland and Trader Joe's. But for anybody who cannot take the vaccine or will not take the vaccine, it's one heck of a problem. And for our part, we showed up and we said, you know what? We are not going with a two-tiered society. The World Health Organization, the ACLU, and American Travel Associations have come out in recent weeks and said this is not acceptable. We're not going to get back to last century where we're saying separate is equal, because it's not. We're not going to be giving special passports to segments of society, because we did that almost a century ago in Europe and it didn't go well. And this is basically Nazi Germany meets 1984 meets Rosa Parks on steroids, and we are not okay with it. And we showed up literally by the hundreds. I think we had well over 1,000 people there at certain points in time. They had almost 700 people put in speaker cards to speak, and the board was there all darn day. And at the end of the day, they saw the writing on the wall. They knew we had been running TV ads front and center on primetime news against this plan. It is a privacy rights nightmare. It's a surveillance state the likes of which George Orwell never could have even conceived of. And at the end of the day, on a 4-to-1 vote, the Board of Supervisors said, we're not entertaining this plan anymore. Right. We are pushing pause on the digital vaccination technology, and rightly so.
Came together as a community and let the board know that we were not interested in going back to segregation issues in our country. Their plan was definitely discrimination against people who refused to be part of an experimental vaccine plan and are unvaccinated, and that was not okay for the citizens of Orange County.
Friends, what I want to say is that we are showing the power of the people. We came together. Morton gave us the name of the Frontline Freedom Fighters, and I really appreciate that, because we all have different groups that we're working with, and we were able to rally the troops. And what I want to say is this: your actions matter. Yes, it was awesome that we got that vote from the board. They only said that they're going to push pause, which means we are going to be relentless, because our next action is going to be to push for a resolution from the board to say that they are going to prohibit any business from requiring this type of digital verification, or whatever they want to call it. But what I want to say is this: one of their tools is psychological despair. So many of you came out, and we did have, we had well over, I would say over 1,000 people. And they cut down our speaking time from 3 minutes to 1 minute to 30 seconds. I had 15 seconds by the time it was my turn, but it doesn't matter. We are never going to relent. They want you to be psychologically weary to say, I went last week and nothing happened. I've been doing this for a year. Some of you guys have been in this fight longer than a year when it comes to vaccines, and we are never going to relent. What I want to say is this: find your group, stay connected, be educated, take action, regardless of the result. I want you to keep fighting. We're going to be fighting with you. We also are doing, I wanted to announce that we're doing Freedom for California, to take what we're doing in Orange County as a template, and then we can roll that out in each county. They are targeting Orange County because we are loud, we are local, we are vocal, and we are conservative by and large. And if they can use Orange County and steamroll it, I believe that California is going to fall, and we are not going to let Orange County fall. So we will have a template that can then go, and many of you have information from your counties. We want Orange County to be the engine that is going to take back California, make California golden again, and we will let that be a tidal wave across the United States.
And pastors, where are you? Why don't you stand up and be counted? You know what Jesus told us. You are the salt of the earth. But if salt loses its saltiness, it's good for nothing except to be trampled on by the people. And we don't want to be trampled on. The Lord wants us to be salt. Salt is that purifying moral purifying influence in the culture that we live in. So I'm calling upon pastors to stand up and start preaching it hard from your pulpits. Encourage people in your congregation to get back to the Bible and to be the salt and the light that the Lord called them to be in this culture and in Orange County and all over the United States.
I want to follow up a little bit on something that Peggy said, and has to do, and Lee, but has to do with yesterday's gathering, especially at the Board of Supervisors meeting. There was something there yesterday that I felt in the marrow of my bones, and it was a tipping point. We've been going to the County Board of Supervisors for a year now, and walking up there, usually if we get 100 or 2 people, we feel really good about that. You know, we had a good turnout and everyone's talking and they're making their points, and we usually outnumber the opposition by 100 to 1 in the points that we're making. And for the whole year that we've done this, we've got nothing but talking. Don Wagner occasionally talks a good game and says the things that we want to hear, but nothing ever really changes in it, and it never seems like they're moved to action. And there was something about yesterday with that crowd there and that energy in that crowd. And you could just feel it and you could see it. And we've been pleading all year long, please, people, we need you. Join us, gather with us. And yesterday it happened, I feel like, for the first time, where we really saw that kind of energy before that board. And when you listen to Katrina Foley's contemptuous comments, you could hear her voice quaking as she spoke. And I feel like that she can feel right now the political earth shifting beneath her feet. And I think all of the entire County Board of Supervisors can feel that. And they feel that for one reason. The turnout yesterday was so big and so enthusiastic and so impressive that they could not ignore it any longer. And they saw it, they felt it. And all we need from this point forward is to get bigger and stronger and bigger and stronger and never stop fighting. This is not something, the conservative movement for the most part has not really gelled like this before in my lifetime that I can ever remember. It's always been the left. They're protesting and signing petitions everywhere over everything. And finally, conservative America has woken up and realized that there is something horribly wrong going on in this country right now, and it's gotten to its own tipping point that has now awakened the giant, the sleeping giant in this country, and that really is conservative America. And they showed up yesterday in Santa Ana, and Orange County is now setting the standard for California. I think the whole country right now is watching Orange County, California. And California, for those that haven't heard, Gavin Newsom today put out some memo stating that, you know, he's kind of changed his mind, and on June 15th, in addition to opening, no more mask mandates either. Unless it's some huge, big event indoor, then don't worry about it. He sees the writing on the wall too, and he hears the footsteps of the recall, gaining on him right now. So there's going to be lots more changes, but these changes are happening for one reason and one reason only. People coming together in massive numbers and marching, whether it's here in California or whatever state capital you're in, or even the capital of the United States. People have to gather and have their voices heard.
Well, Orange County, it's time for you to once again show the country why the Patriot pushback started here 16 months ago. I've been coast to coast, and I can tell you nobody is stronger, nobody is prouder of their home, and no one has more force than the Orange County Patriot movement.
That's right.
Right.
You're the reason it exists. But without you, it doesn't exist. And for the first time in this county, where we thought our county leadership actually mirrored the county residency, it doesn't. And either you're going to come to the conclusion of who you are and why you live here, or you're going to become one of the many that is going to fall on the side of our tyrannical government and our governor and all the way down to our county leadership, which we thought not in 100 years would turn the direction that it's turned. So you have to lead. Do not depend on your politicians. They're not to be trusted. Call it out. They're not to be trusted. You are the one to be trusted. Your neighbor trusts you. You trust your neighbor. Make the decision for yourself, for your neighborhood, and for your kids, and how you want to live and why you love Orange County. Because no one else is going to love it for you. Our politicians aren't loving it for you. They want you to go be put in a box. They'd prefer you never showed up on the beach, and you never showed up in a park, and you never went hiking, and you wore a mask when you swam. So if that's the kind of stuff you want in your future, You just keep following along with what they tell you on the talking mouths of the news. But right now, I gotta tell you, we're the best news you're gonna get. And we're gonna tell you right now, we're gonna win this. So pick your side, because it's the right place to be is where your heart tells you to be. And you know, all this BS that we've been living for the last 16 months has only destroyed your life, your family, your church, your school, and your heart.
Yep.
Take it back,
Yes.
and then take back your beach, and take back your sunshine,
Yeah.
and take back your boats, and take back your friends, and live here for another 100 years and set the standard for your generations to come of why Orange County is the most beautiful county in America.
Come on back to Orange County, everybody.
Yes.
Those of you that left, I'm serious. Those of you that have gone for, greener pastures, you cannot outrun evil. You need to stand, you need to face it, you need to fight it. That's what we're doing here. So come on back, we need you. I know people that are moving to Orange County from other counties in the United States, in California, because of the work that we're doing here. Come back to California, come back to Orange County. We are gonna make it, can I say golden again, even though it's orange? And we need you to fight with us.
And all it takes for evil to prevail is for good people to do nothing. So we got to rise up and let's stand up for righteousness' sake.
Yesterday, what we saw was people from Texas, people from Northern California, people from Santa Barbara, and the news channels even reported this, who gathered together because they recognized that we needed to hold the line right here.
Yes.
We were the tip of the spear. And it was very gratifying, it was very heartening. You know, Martin Luther King said, "Injustice anywhere is an affront to justice everywhere." And truer words were never spoken. And piggybacking on what Peggy and Alan were saying, nobody ever outran tyranny, ever, ever, ever. Those of us who think that our families escaped the Holocaust because they left and they went to Poland and then they went to Norway and then they went to Argentina, I have news for you, nobody outran Hitler. Winston Churchill and the US got in the fight and fought evil down. The way that you win against tyranny is you fight it down. You don't end up gaining more power the more that you retreat from it or run from it. And as Margaret Mead said, I'm going to slaughter it, I'm sure, never doubt that a small group of people can achieve things on this planet, because indeed they are the only people who ever have. So you are the leaders you've been waiting for. Yeah, if I had $1 for every time somebody came up to one of us yesterday and said, "Oh, thank you so much for leading," and those were kind words, but I'm here to tell you they weren't accurate. What happened yesterday would not have happened if me and Alan and Peggy had showed up. What happened yesterday was a testament to one thing only, and that was the power of you. And thank you for being there, and keep doing what you're doing. And this rule applies regardless of what county, what state, or what country you're in.